Hi there, my name is Elaine and I'm here from Move Wellness to show you some exercises today that we like to refer to as our movement vitamins. And so we think this is a great little routine that you can do every day, just like taking your vitamins. So we're going to start seated. We're going to start with arm circles, and you can do these either seated or lying on your back, but I thought it would be nice to show them seated for starters, so you have some options. So just take a second and find the length in your spine and let your arms float up over your head on an inhale. On exhale, they come down to your side. And you inhale and exhale. And the purpose of this exercise is to just get your shoulder blades gliding across your rib cage, and you'll stretch out your arms and chest, and then switch directions, and you'll really be able to start to connect your movement to your breath. Or your breath to the movement, which is our goal. One more. Good. And from there, we'll go on our back, and we'll do our upper ab flexion. So your pelvis will start in a neutral position here. And by neutral, a nice way to think about that is if your pelvis was a clock with your belly button at 12 and your pubic bone at 6, that clock would be parallel to the ceiling. So we'll have ease in the shoulders, and you can take a few breaths here to just release into gravity. And then inhale and nod your chin. And exhale, close your ribs to curl up and look right at your thighs. It's important to keep the clock parallel to the ceiling. You inhale and stay, and you exhale and float down. You can do that several times. Inhale, nod. And we're keeping our abdominals pulling in, not letting them poof out. We're really initiating the movement from the rib cage, that rectus abdominis there. And one more. Inhale. And then float right down. Good. And so from here, we're going to do our hip release. And in that hip release, you want to hold on to your pelvis. So those abdominals will keep your pelvis parallel to that clock, parallel to the ceiling. And you're going to let your one leg open to the side without rocking the clock. Don't rock the boat. And the knee opens to the side. You extend it long. You rotate towards your midline, and you drag it back in. And you inhale, open to the side, and you reach long, and you drag it in. And mostly you're noticing the range of motion in that leg that's moving, and you're getting a nice stretch in lateral and a stretch in your medial rotation of that thigh, and you're dragging that leg in. So it's a nice stretch at the hip. And you're still connecting your movement to your breath, and switch directions. So then you go from medial to lateral, and you drag your leg in and up. Medial to lateral, drag it in and up. And just like vitamins in our food nourish our body to work optimally, all the systems of our body to work optimally, these exercises do the same from a movement perspective. And then you can switch legs. So as you go to the side, the tendency will be to pull your pelvis out of alignment, but this is where you're holding onto your core to keep your pelvis stable. And then switch directions. And if that feels really good to you or you want a longer challenge today, you can go back and try that again. Just pause the video. From here, we're lining up our feet, knees, and hips. So you don't want your feet too wide. You want them right in the middle of your pelvis. And take a second and just press your heels down into the mat a couple times and just notice what happens to your pelvis. As you press your heels down, you might feel a little bit of a posterior tilt and a little activation at the top of your legs and right at that gluteal fold. And so what I'd like you to do, the next exercise is called hip rolls, and you'll connect your abdominals and pull that little pelvic clock. Instead of keeping it parallel to the ceiling, we're going to pull it to 12 o'clock by using all those abdominals in the low belly. And then you press your heels down, your pelvis moves a little more, and then you're trying to pull one vertebrae at a time off the mat. And you're thinking about lifting your hip bones and reaching your knees, and then you roll down one vertebrae at a time, coming back to a neutral position. And so take a breath in, exhale, push the heels down, connect the abdominals, curl the tailbone and peel the spine off the mat. Your hips float up to the sky as your knees reach over the toes, and then you float down one vertebrae at a time, spreading the back into the mat as you go. Try a couple more. Press the heels, contract the abs, peel the spine off, keeping everything calm in the shoulders and throat, and try not to let your ribs pop up. Your ribs stay connected, and it's your hips that lift here, and then you roll down, and one more. Press your heels down, connect the abs, curl the tailbone and peel your spine off. Take a breath in, and then roll right down. Good. So from here, I'd like to do some toe taps. So we'll get that abdominal challenge. You'll move the pelvic clock to 12 o'clock. So use your abdominals. It's like you're zipping up a tight pair of jeans. Now, I'll give you one other cue here before we get going to not let your ribs pop. So the idea is that your bottom rib is spreading into the mat and you're connecting your abdominals. So you should feel this activated and a width across the bottom of your rib cage. Sometimes it takes a little time to get that sensation in your body, so just do the best you can. So you'll notice that you're at the back of your pelvis now, at parallel to the floor with that clock. You feel the back of your pelvis, and then when you draw your abdominals into that 12 o'clock position, you're going to feel a different sensation in those bones. It's important to hold on to that, because we're going to take one leg off, and then without letting those bones move, that's your core, you're going to take the other leg off. And so from here, we're going to keep those bones, the abs hooking into the spine, and those bones on the mat, and you'll tap your toes down. Inhale, exhale, tap, inhale, up, exhale, tap, inhale, up. And as you're doing this, the work comes from really scooping into the abdominals, holding your pelvis in place, not letting your back arch, and keeping that bottom rib, those bottom ribs on the mat. And so your core is working pretty hard. You're building up a little heat in the body, and you're reaching that toe away. And we'll do a couple more sets because I want to show you with this left leg what not to do. Don't just drop that foot right there. Reach it out far away. So there's a little bit of a heavy lever pulling against your abs. Good. There you go. And then there's your toe taps. So from here, what I'd like to do is have you come up onto all fours. And we will do our, let's do our spinal rotation from here. Your ears, shoulders, and hips are lined up. And you're still connecting through the front of your belly. And what I'd like you to do is make sure that your shoulders are not up by your ears. So we start always in a neutral alignment, no matter what our relationship to gravity is. And that means our ears, shoulders, and hips are lined up, and our abdominals are nice and connected in the front of our body. So from here, actually let's do our cat stretch first. This is a exercise where you may know this from your yoga classes, where you pull your abdominals in and you push out of your hands and knees and you curl your spine into that angry Halloween cat. And then on an exhale, articulate right back to neutral. Inhale to stay. Exhale, use the abdominals to help you lift the pelvis. Push out of the hands and knees. Inhale at the top, and then come right back to neutral. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, and exhale, lift the belly to lift the hips. Sometimes it feels nice to shift your weight back a little and get a nice stretch through the low back. It's up to you. And 1 more. Lift the belly to lift the hips. And then come right back to neutral. And from here, I'd like to do a little bit of thoracic rotation. So it's a little bit of a core challenge as well. So you're gonna let your right arm float out to the side and you reach under your left armpit. Keep your eyes on your fingertips. And then you swoop that arm down and around and lift it up to the sky with your eyes on your fingers. You reach. And I'm just having you move and breathe. It's not as important that you have a particular breath in a particular position. If you can inhale here. It feels nice to push away from the floor and then switch sides. Other arm goes out to the side and you feel your abdominals connected, those obliques, and you're gonna reach under and down and around and lift. And reach under and down and around and lift. And reach under and down and around and lift. And reach under and down, around and lift. Good. So from here, you might want to take a child's pose or shell stretch, we like to call it, where you tuck your tail a little and just sit back a bit to stretch your low back out and stretch the front of your chest out a little bit. And then we'll come back here, do another nice stabilizer for the low back. And that is where you connect the front of your body again. And opposite arm and leg, reach away from your center and you float the arm and leg up as far as you can stay stable in your trunk. And you slide them back down and into the starting position, trying not to shift. So you have your weight evenly distributed, and then keep the connection in the core. Reach the arm and leg long, float them up, and then come down and all the way in. And opposite arm and leg, reach, float up, and come down, and slide in. And last one, reach, float up, come down, and slide in. And you can sit right back. Again, briefly, we've got 2 more vitamins, 2 more exercises, a little side leg work. So we're gonna lie in one long line. And you can line up the back of your mat to help you make sure you're in this one long line, ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and feet lined up. Your hand is in front like a kickstand. So you're gonna, first I like to have people just relax into the floor and then reach your legs long and then reach your top leg. Don't lift it up, just reach it long and feel how your waist lengthens on the top and then your bottom waist lengthens a little too. This puts you into your neutral alignment. And so keep that length in your waist, keep the connection in the front of your body, and you're gonna just lift your leg and flex and lower your leg. So this is great to get that side body active. That keeps you nice and stable when you walk and move around your day. It helps with balance, it helps with mobility. It's just an often ignored place of our body to work. And I always like to say, if you feel it a lot, it means you need it. And so then after you do a few of those, let's just do some leg circles. Keeping your core. That means don't let your pelvis move against the movement of your leg. You're moving your leg, switch directions with your circles. You're moving your leg and using your core to stabilize your pelvis while your leg moves. Sometimes we want that to be really dynamic, but right now we're really trying to build tone and connection and awareness and ease in the joints. So lift the top leg up. Keep reaching that leg long. Bring your bottom thigh up to meet it and set both legs down. And your top leg, bottom leg, and both legs come down. 2 more of those. And this is your last one. Stay connected in the front of your body. Good. And you can get a nice stretch through that hip by bringing your knee forward to a comfortable angle, and you'll just stretch out those muscles. So let's go ahead and do the other side. And so reach the top leg long, so the bottom rib lifts a bit. Connect the abdominals in the front and reach the leg as you lift, flex and lower. And point, lift, flex and lower. Point, lift. Now as you're working, try to keep the front of your hip open and really feel the work in the side of the hip. And point, lift, flex and lower. A couple more. Point, lift, flex and lower. And there we go. Point, lift and circle to the back. And 2. And as you do this, you want to make sure you get back up and around. Back up and around. You have to work really, you have to focus a little more on not making the circle. Move your pelvis. So it's all core training. All core all the time in Pilates. Switch directions. 2, 3. We get to about 8. Try not to keep it 8 all the time so I can keep people on their toes. But you decide what works for you. Then you can let it rest and reach and lift. Bottom leg comes up. We're just going to do 4 of these today. Top, bottom, down. Keep breathing. And last one. Good, and then this hip gets a little stretch too. Should feel nice. And then you can come on up to sitting to finish, and there's a lot more we could do, but the idea is really to give you something that can be done every day. You can work this into your routine, and we've moved your spine in all of its planes of motion, almost. We've got one more to do, and we connected our breath to our movement. We moved your spine a lot. We connected to your core, and we got your back chain active a bit. So let's go ahead and reach your right arm up. And we're going to reach up and over, and here's our lateral flexion. And you're going to lift the ribs and spread the accordion on an inhale, and then exhale, go a little deeper, keeping that right hip rooted into the mat. And then yawn the arm all the way up. And up and over, yawn into the rib cage. Come over a little more. And yawn the arm all the way up. And that felt so good. Let's do it again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And come all the way up. I forgot to stretch all the way over that time. Go all the way over a little more. And then yawn the arm all the way up. Good, there we go. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this little series helps you. If you have any feedback for us, you can leave me some notes in the comments. If there's something else you would like to see, or if you have any questions, just let us know. We'll try to get them answered for you. Have a great day.